Okay, so I'd actually just about finished the video and then realized I did it wrong. So let's start over from scratch here. So what I've got here, this is actually that Rocking Heifers 4 design. So you can see you've got the line work on the screen. I didn't put the benchmark where it's supposed to be. This is just something I'm playing with yet. Like I said, I don't actually have a cut fill because I can't get the two layers to interact with each other, but I'll get it figured out. Anyway, so the first thing we want to do is actually come into maps and fields, and you're going to want to start a new field, whether it's a job or whatever. I just started the field here, so we'll do test pens and go back, and you can change it as a client, as a farm, a field, whatever you like. So we got a blank screen. Second thing I'm going to do is start a new plan. We're going to create a survey, and it's got this name here, which is just date and time. We're just going to call it test pens 1 and go back. So you can see the file name here for the survey. We probably should have called it survey, but whatever. Okay, so we've set that up. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to set up a survey vehicle and a survey implement. Now, since you're going to be running on the side by side, I'm probably going to focus more on using the vehicle GPS. So the first thing you're going to want to do is we're going to set up the vehicle. We're going to call it Ranger there. So you select it. There, we can do add new, call it Ranger 2. Check. Then we're going to go into setup. So here you can change all these settings if you'd like. Go into measurements, and you're going to want to put in these measurements, so like the front of the unit to your front axle, the center of your front axle, length between axles, yada yada, GPS distance from center, um, yeah, and same from your rear axle, GPS height above ground. So this is going to be basically what they call rod height. So if you take the antenna down off of the top of the roof and it's a different measurement on your survey pole, you're going to want to change this number so that you get the proper elevation. GPS antenna configuration, you're just going to have a single. Okay. And then we're going to choose an implement. Now I usually have a survey one set up depending on how wide I want my survey passes. And really the only reason we're doing an implement is to show run lines. So if you want to make sure you have pretty straight survey lines, you can use this as a light bar to make sure that you're covering everything properly. So, we have this set as 20-foot width. Quite often, we usually in a big field, we're doing 40-foot passes. The narrower your run lines, the more accurate or more data points you're going to have. Usually I run 40 feet. If you're doing a smaller job, you probably want to do 20 feet. Um, so I have that set up or that selected. Then we go into setup. And the implement setup, this is where we can tell it how many feet between survey points. So I have it set for 10 feet, which is pretty normal. I like to have it show the points so I know where it's taken a survey point. Lines, I'm not worried about because we're not creating any lines on the screen. If there was a design or something, some sort of background map, and you wanted to have line work, say an engineer gave you, you could have this on so it would show it. Display elevations, I normally turn that off because I find the screen gets cluttered, but if you like it, you can keep it on so that way you can see the elevations as it takes a data point. And then here, really the information doesn't matter too much because I just want a 20-foot spread between my lines. Um, and I'm not going to put in any GPS information. Um, None of this really matters because we're not going to select the implement for survey. All right. The next thing you'll need to do is go to GPS comms. And because we're going to be running the vehicle GPS, you need to make sure that you're connected to the pod through vehicle. Right now, you're probably connected to the pod through implement. So you want to make sure that implement pod device is none. Up to you if you want to get rid of the pod password. And then make sure you're connected through here. Uh, we could do it the opposite. You go through implement, and then you just got to make sure that your GPS information is properly set up. Um, all the measurements properly set up under implement, and the vehicle GPS position doesn't matter. But here we're just going to do vehicle. All right. And you'll have to change that back as you go back to something else. You'll have to another machine and implement. You'll have to change that back to implement GPS. Okay, so our vehicle and implement are set up. Um, so now is time. I'm going to zoom in on our tractor here. I set it up as a front hitch implement. Just keep it easier. If you want to have run lines, you go menu, record, and then click on AB run line, and this will give you your run line setup. I am going to set this up A plus heading. So I've got a heading of 0 degrees, which is straight north. I just hit the A button and bang. I've got now my north-south run lines. And up the top of the screen is basically a light bar. So if I start driving and I start come off, well, now I know I'm 42 inches to the right. Depending on how accurate you want to be, you can drive back and forth to make yourself happy. Survey can be turned on and off here. Once you have your run lines, you can turn this off, get out of the way. And so basically when I'm ready to start surveying, I just hit that there, and there we go. And every 10 feet, it's taken a data point. If I want to go at a curve or anything like that, doesn't matter, just every 10 feet is going to take a point. When you're doing surveying of fields, there really isn't a lot of difference between pause and stop. If you're using the ditching function, hitting pause means it stops the survey, but when you start it again, it's going to consider the new part of the survey to be part of the first ditch. So yeah, if you're doing a really long ditch and for some reason you stop and then start again, it's going to consider that part of one long ditch. When you hit stop, now when you hit start again, it's considered a new ditch. So you could have multiple ditches in a field, and by hitting that stop button, that's how you tell it that I just finished surveying one ditch and I'm going on to ditch number 2 or 3 or 4, whatever. Yeah, now you would just drive around the field, taking your passes, and yeah, getting your data points. When you get to the point where you want to save a benchmark, that's where you use this feature option. So menu, record, feature. And now, as soon as you hit that, it takes that position, shows your elevation, everything like that. You can put a name in there if you want to have a description of what you're doing. And when you go to image type, you'll see down here we have master benchmark. Bang, hit that, go back, and now that's marked. Where this is handy for things like trees or rocks, when you've marked them, as you get closer, it'll actually tell you that you're getting closer and beep to alert you. So if you don't want to hit a big rock that's hidden, well, that'll try to protect you. If you want to create a second benchmark. And the only reason to do that usually is to make sure that your job is properly rotated afterwards. Come in here to feature, hit flag, and then hit benchmark one and go back. And so now in ezigrade, that'll show up as a whole new second benchmark. Um, yeah, so let's say we finished our survey here now. Um, all I would do now is go menu, maps, plans. I got this plan here, and I would go to survey export. Now we can save it a few different ways. ezigrade means it's ready to go into ezigrade software. Shapefile, that's something you could send to SMS guys. Most other guys will take shape files. Dear ag leader, your agronomist. Google Earth will basically take your data points and then you could put them on Google Earth to see where they line up on Google Earth. Probably not the handiest thing for you, but some guys like it. So I'm going to save this in a different file. Documents. And we're just going to save it here. Okay. So now we're all done. I'll exit out of here. Okay, now I'm going to start up ezigrade. I've actually got to make it a little smaller because, like I said, I got a dead spot on my screen here. So, all right. So I'm going to hit new. Bring this up one directory. I'm going to start a new folder. Okay, and we'll call it tester one. And open. So this is an ezigrade file called tester one. And what we're going to do next now, there we go. We're going to import that file. So I hit import up here, and we can see Agguide multi. I'm going to select that. Browse the folder. I keep it in documents. Okay. Did I not save that? Hmm. All right. What did I do? All right. Let's go back into Agguide here. Maps, plans, survey export, documents. Oh, this is went to the wrong. Okay. The tester. Save. select both. Okay. Surface and contours created automatically. Yes. Now, of course, it's not much of a survey because it's just a straight line. So actually what I'm going to do, let's open up a different one that I've done. Actually, we're going to create a new file called test2 and save it in my buddy Murraydale's here. Oops, I gotta start close tester, make this one bigger. So I'm going to import Agguide multipath. Documents. Select them both. So path is the actual survey points. Mark path is your benchmark points. Okay. Computer's grunting a little bit. There we go. Want surface graded? Yes. All right. Now, if I want to kind of see this, you can see this is actually our natural surface. If I wanted to see what this looked like, I can come in here to screen parameters and screen color. Hit surface colors. Now it's kind of taken relative elevations from the file. You can play with those numbers if you want to. Shade by height. I don't like the bump map option. I'll hit OK. And so now you can see the contours and the elevations. The data points are in the way. I can actually turn them off up here. And so now you see your different elevations through the whole field. And I can do this and this. And so now I have a legend to tell me what elevation. So the red, darker red is the high points, the darker blue is the lowest points. And so we can see everything really goes to the east side of the field, the northeast corner, uh, which is actually kind of a shitty ditch to go to. I'd actually, I'd do something different. But okay, so now let's say I want to just level this field so water goes the exact same way, but it gets rid of any low spots or ponding spots, and the amount that I cut equals my fill. I'm just going to go grading, and I'm going to go get least squares. So that's basically essentially saying best fit. I'll do a triangle based. I'm going to smooth between sections, about a 20-foot smoothing. Hit OK. And it should be working on it here now. You can also use grid based. It's probably more what you're used to with a laser side. But doing triangle based is supposed to be more accurate. It does take it longer to figure it out. I actually typically just do grid based just because it's quicker. So anyway, while it's thinking, actually, I'm just gonna cancel this. Let's do grid based. So when we do just least squares and tell it to come up with a plan, it enters in what your min x and min y will be in order to achieve what you're doing, but we're not actually putting any constraints on it. Now, if we decided we wanted to move the dirt differently, then we can put on these constraints to say I got to move at least this much soil, or I can have set minimums and maximums for my slopes and everything else. This is a little over 200-acre field, so I guess that's why it's making my computer snort a little bit. All right, so using 30 by 30 grids, uh, cut fill ratio of 150, which is actually, depending on your soil, it might be lower than that. It's more clay. Um, but yeah, we got a cut area of 134 acres, fill area of 121 acres. So yeah, you can see the amount of soil we'd be moving. We can print this report out if we wanted to. And when I hit OK, it's going to create a new surface. So I'm going to color them again. All right, so this is how it would automatically try to reshape the whole field. So obviously that's a lot of dirt moving. And this is working to move the water to where it would have went before. Um, so yeah, pretty intense job, but that's just a quick way of getting the field done. Now, this will also give me the third surface now is our cut fill. And I'll have to color it in so you can see it. Surface. Oh, everything says null. Okay, so I got some issue with what I did there. Maybe my computer brain farted on it. Um, but that's a quick way of reshaping a field. Now, what I would probably do in a job like this is look at this is their best ditch over here. So I might actually look at turning these into sections. So through fields, you can create uh, new sections of a field and have them hinge with each other so they match up. So maybe have water come here, here, follow maybe down this way, and then hit a common ditch going to the west. Um, but yeah, that's where we get into more intense stuff with learning the program and that. So, but hopefully this gets you at least to where you can get the survey done, get it into ezigrade, and play around with it. Um, yeah, so I'm gonna stop this now, and if you get some more questions, let me know.